I don't know if anybody's watching because I can't see the screen, but just in case. All right, I'm going to read you this letter. If you're there, if you're not there. Dylan Parker, how you doing? Margot, I know it's late. I can't stand on my hands today because both my wrists are swollen. I'm just like, I maybe didn't understand what kind of thing I was trying to bite off and do. I think I just tried too many times in a row that one night. A few different things. But remember my motto, do you? Just show up. So I don't got to stand on my hands. I just got to show up. Still got the goal. So occasionally I get letters from viewers, and one time I said, or at least once I've said, that I believe there's a bestseller that could be written about everybody on the earth, every human, just in the way that it's told. And so I read this letter today, and I was thinking, you know, you talk to people on YouTube, you see them in the comment sections and stuff, and you kind of know them, but you don't like super duper know them, but they kind of know you because you're putting up a lot of content. And over time, you get a kind of a vibe for people. But then when they write you a detailed letter, you get even more of a vibe. And so I thought I would read this letter. So let me navigate to the letter. I'm going to share some. People write me stuff, and I'll ask them, can I share this? And if they say yes, then I'll likely just read it because it's kind of, I guess, pertinent to the community here, whatever we're doing here. So the letter is where? Probably over here. So this is from a guy that was on the live cast last night. And his name is Chris Coyle. I've been talking to him for a while now, years, I guess, because my videos kind of struck a chord with him. They resonated with him in some way. So he writes, so he had changed his name. He had changed his name from Coyle's Tree Service or something, his channel, to Barn Find Fabrication. He always had kind of an interesting story because he has a son, Dustin, I think is his name. And Dustin, they didn't get to hang out with each other until Dustin was grown because, you know, life is complicated. Dustin grows up, and lo and behold, they're like buddies. They're like friends. It's almost like not father-son because dad, there wasn't that when when Dustin was growing up. So, and I don't like know these guys real well, but I've just seen it in the videos. They're more like friends than like if you had raised the kid and, you know, It's just an interesting thing. I think it's really, really cool because I got the impression that Chris wasn't allowed to see him until the kid was old enough to be like, I see who I want. And then they become best buds. So I don't know, kind of cool. But anyway, they're tree guys and they're really like kind of down home style. They remind me of the kind of roots that I have. So here we go. Okay, so I know I've told you some of this before, but I need to run through it so it makes sense. Dad was a climber his whole life. I'm the youngest of 3. I have one brother 6 years younger than me. We both grew up working for him, Coils Tree Service in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. My brother was going to follow Dad's footsteps, but became a welder instead. I went up my first tree at 17. At 21, I got my girlfriend pregnant. And then he writes in parentheses, Dustin. So my brother talked me into getting a job where he was, Elgin Sweeper, where he still works to this day. So he got me started in welding there. I didn't like the factory life, so I went to work for other tree companies. Well, that would be me too, not liking the factory life. Until late 1996 when my dad asked me to help him fix up and sell his last truck, an old 1976 F600 Daily dump. Daily? Maybe that means Davy. We were fixing it up for sale. I started seeing my whole childhood slip away. So I begged him to restart his business. He had hung it up because Jeff and I didn't want it, and he was just working for his old buddy Paul. It took me about a month, but I finally talked him into it. I could see he was happy one of his boys finally wanted to work with him. So in January 1997, that was the year my daughter was born, Hannah, who's now almost to graduate college. Oh, that was my interjection into the story. We bought another chipper. Let's see. I started seeing January 1997. We bought another chipper and started advertising. Sorry, I lost my place here. He started calling old customers and we started getting a little work. He was so happy I was interested in learning what his 38 years of experience had to teach me. But long story short, it ended in fall when he was diagnosed with lung cancer and 3 months to live. He passed 12/3/1997. He was 52. That's hardcore, man, because that's how old I am now. I can't imagine. I got all kind of people relying on me. And while my family was helping Dad in that time, my wife was at the bar. And after he passed, we got divorced. So there was 25 by myself trying repeatedly to keep CTS alive, which is Coils Tree Service. I just couldn't let it go. If I did, it would be like all those trees he wrestled down, all that deadwood he chased, all of his hard work would be for nothing. But I never had any real equipment, didn't have any money, so I would contract climb and had a couple of friends I worked with that had equipment for my bigger jobs. In return, I'd help with their jobs, which is what I was doing October 5th, 2004. I got complacent, running ropes for my buddy Jim while he was in his bucket truck destroying a very large silver maple in Rockford, Illinois. We had the tree topped out by 9 a.m. and Jim was rigging the wood over the garage. He gets to the point where his 020 was too small. So he asked for the 044. He comes down, we switch saws, and back up he goes. He begins to cut where he had started with the 020T and then stops, thinks a second, and moves the bucket down. I've only got one wrap going on and was like, oh crap. But then he asked if I needed another wrap, and I thought, nothing's been heavy at all yet. So that's what I said. Are you sure? He said. To my reply, yeah, if it's heavy, I'll take another wrap on the next one. We didn't have a porter wrap, and I was being lazy and I knew better. So he made the cut, put the saw back in the bucket, and pushed it off. Yanked me off my feet. I wasn't even slowing it down. So about a 600-pound log and myself met at the base of the tree, resulting in a compound fracture 2 inches above my left ankle. So compound fracture is gruesome. So they fixed me up by opening my knee and putting a large rod in my leg and bolted it back together. So I moved to my sister's in Texas because I lost everything. See what I'm saying about the stories a person can have? This is just a human being. Another guy out there, right? Another human being. And you see him, you see somebody walking into the store or whatever, you don't know that person. You have no idea what the burden they've got now, what they had before, what they're going to have. Good, bad, and indifferent. Good, bad, and ugly. You don't know. But guarantee it's interesting no matter what the story is. So they fixed me up by, I healed up 6 months later and decided. So he lost everything. I decided to quit tree work 6 months later when he healed up and got in a metal shop with my welding skills, and I became a pretty good fabricator, but still had that unfinished feeling eating at me from the CTS thing, which is Coils Tree Service. Good morning, Boise 69. Dan the Tree Man. Hey, there's Chris right now. Thanks, Dylan. He bought some aid for this stuff. There's just something kind of not very flattering about the lighting of a computer monitor. Oh, well, here I am. Okay, let's see here. So after a couple years, I had to try again. But still had that unfinished feeling eating me. Okay, Coils Tree Service. He feels like he needs to keep her going. Feels like he's made for that. So after a couple years, I just had to try again. Now with my new wife, who always has supported me, but then when 2008 came, no work. So 2008, that's when Heather and I bought. Obama became president. Can't forget that. Heather and I bought a place on Greenwood Avenue. Boy, it was the first it was neat, a really neat place. And I was so scared to have a big old house payment because I'd always lived in an apartment and drove an old Ford truck. My rent was $520 a month, and I kept it that way forever. And I never would have moved out of that apartment if it wasn't for that. I never would have moved the furniture. I never would have. And she done shook things up. A good woman, a good wife, a good spouse, period, will push your comfort zone. They'll complete you, right? If a guy just stays the same, is he complete or is he one half? I like to say she's my 7/8. So yeah, I'm rambling. I got sidetracked. I seen you in about, okay. Look at, but then in 2008 came no work. So I just climbed for the other guy. That's when I started running crews and training climbers. But then I seen you in about 2016. Hey, look at this guy made for this! Exclamation point. Man, if there was only one tree guy that spoke to it, was definitely me. Well, that's good. I wrote that. I don't know why, even though I wasn't in instructor teacher mode, I was always in sort of gift. Like I wanted to give a present, and the present was sort of a industry-wide validation. Like I was calling the brotherhood. Hey, whoever you are, I know you're out there. This is who I am. Does it resonate? And guys like Chris here would resonate. So let's see, where are we at here? Other injuries. Okay, let's see. You guys, I get to... All I've been through. I was dragging brush at 8 years old. I bet you didn't always love that. All the other injuries besides my leg. And of course, I still just couldn't let Coyle's Tree Service go. Sounds to me, Chris, like it was hard to let your dad go. Like tree work was sort of a symbol of him. I felt robbed. It just wasn't finished yet. You were robbed. Because when a man dies at 52, the boy will suffer. And death is cruel. For sure. It's the enemy. It'll have to be rectified by powers far greater than us. So I gave it one last try, January 2017. By December, Dustin joined me, and I've been training him. Okay, so Dustin's the long-lost boy. And he shows up, and these guys get to have a friendship. He never put on a saddle before that, and he was too young to remember his grandpa. But Dad sure loved him. So this time, CTS was actually somewhat successful. CTS is Coyle's Tree Service. We've gotten more equipment and work than I thought we would, and Dustin has turned out to be the best climber I've ever trained. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't it? Giving him a livelihood and a skill. There's a young lady who never had much, a relative. Okay, if I'm gonna be just transparent, my buddy Joe, remember his daughter tragically died in a hit and run accident a few years ago. Okay, Joe's half sister now works at monkeybeaver.com. Never coming from a kind of a broken home, backwoods, rural. How are you going to get out of that how are you going to break free of your, what do you call it? Where you've been put, where you've been placed. And it's so beautiful that monkeybeaver.com, which was built off of YouTube by that same made for this energy that I gave away, now has a platform, and this young lady comes to work for us, and Joe has taught her how to sew, and she has a life skill of a skilled labor, something she wouldn't have got unless somebody had the ability and the platform to take time and infuse it into her and let her run with it. And now she's the one who sews those suspenders up. I'm going to choke myself up. She's the one, Meadows' half-sister, is the one who's sewing you know, Joe has slowly brought her along. And we got this other beautiful lady named Sam. And she's been a huge help with sewing suspenders because they're sold out. And they're really, really, really good quality, okay? I mean, this stuff, there's nothing like it. It's the best. It's the El Primero, okay? And so this young lady, her name is Rami, she has slowly... Anyway, long story short, it's what Chris is talking about. He was able to give something to the boy he didn't get to raise. See, this is what I'm saying. This bestseller, a person's life. This is a snapshot. This is the tip of an iceberg of a guy I barely know. And it's going to be like that for everybody. And I like to let it in. You know what I'm saying? Boy, oh boy, I bet you do. But I'm just a ramble king here. But now he's expecting, it's getting good. I've been training him. He never put on a saddle before that. You know, Damien never put on a saddle before he met me. And guess where he saw me? Guess where Damien saw me? On YouTube. And one day he saw my truck go by and he's like, that's the guy. I can't believe he didn't even know I was local. Yeah, so I know the feeling when you infuse somebody with a work skill that is kind of doesn't even seem that special to us because it's second nature. But it ain't second nature to everybody. Just tonight, I taught my wife. She's always saying, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you hang this picture? Can you? And I'm like, oh, I'm really happy when I can, because that's her language of love is to do stuff around the house. Oh man, talk about smiles and winks and chemistry. Oh, that's all you got to do is do something around the house. You could tell her she's foxy, hot, sexy, looking good, beautiful, nice hair, dress, teeth, whatever, ears, whatever a guy would say to a lady, probably not ears. But you say all that, it don't mean nothing. To somebody it would. And it might mean something to her if I was gone, because she'd remember about 600 billion nonstop. Because I'm a verbal guy. She would likely be like, dang, that guy was like constantly building me up verbally. But that ain't the language. The language is do stuff around the house. So just tonight I taught her how to put the I'm like, hey, not that I don't want to do this. I love doing this and getting these free chemistry points, right? But if you just hold the drill right here and you hit reverse, you can unscrew the thing that's in there, the chuck or whatever it's called. And then you put the new thing and you got to hold it in the middle. And it was just so weird because I was watching her and I patiently watched her. Like, part of me was because I was there like holding the picture thing on the wall or whatever while I was waiting for her to do something the first time in her life, which was hold a little drill bit into the 3-point chuck thing on a cordless drill. And you know how if you don't do it right, it gets hooked on the side and it's all whoa, 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 like that. Well, of course she was doing that. And she made that stinking drill look like the hardest project you ever. I mean, this was master's level degree stuff. It was impossible. And I was just like, I couldn't believe this is a simple thing. And I'm seeing and she said, after I taught her how to put the stupid drill bit in the drill, she said, thank you for teaching me this. Come on. Oh, everybody's got something they can show somebody. So it's got the light bulbs on right now. And I don't know where that came from, but probably just because me and Chris here and you and anybody who understands this, been through this, has seen the beauty of packaging something up and giving it to somebody, something that they keep because they use it. It's a skill. Oh man. Okay. Let's see here now. I couldn't let my wife is requesting I do something else, and kind of. I don't want to jump ahead, y'all. Dustin joined me. Dad's Coils tree service was somewhat successful. We got more equipment and work than I thought we would. Dustin turned out to be the best climber I've ever trained, and now he's expecting another baby. And he feels he needs to devote as much time to his family as possible, along with some employee benefits. So Mr. Coyle here is saying, dear old dad, and their really folksy tree service didn't have the big company benefits and stuff. So he's trained up his boy to work for somewhere else, and I guarantee Chris is going to love him regardless of all that. Let's see. But now he's expecting another baby. So Dustin has gone to work for the bigger guy. That'd be a different company. And of course, they think he's amazing, and they've been taking really good care of him this first month. As for myself, my wife is requesting I do something else as she's getting tired of worrying. So I've been selling things and am hanging up my spurs. But I see it so clearly now. It used to be unfinished, but it's finished now. And I think this is about your dad. I mean, yes, he gave you a skill that you found enjoyment in, and you passed it along to Dustin, and it lives on. I couldn't let it go because I had to give my son the skills. See, I wasn't reading ahead when I said that, so I guarantee I'm tracking with this story. I had to give my son the skills to provide for his family, and Coils Tree Service allowed me the time to do that. And then you made some money along the way. God allowed me to do that. And this time, it doesn't end with Dad dying of cancer. I think I can finally let it go now. And it won't end. You'll be gone, and it won't end. Because those little juniors are who knows? Who knows? Could just be a Bolin that lives on, or it could be a full-on made for this. I just hope I don't get kicked out of this tree brotherhood just because I've retired from it at 48. I hope I'm always a tree man. And how many times has an old tree man customer told you, I used to, or my brother used to, I do it myself, but I don't got no climbing gear. I don't want to be that guy. Yeah, I know. So I'm going to weld and bend metal for a living, and that's what I'm changing. And that's why I'm changing the CTS channel. So we changed it from Coils Tree Service to Barn Find Fabrication. Going to weld. Going to weld for someone full time. Well, I turned my barn into a welding and fab shop. Barn Find. Sorry for the book I just wrote you. I just thought as much as you were made for this, You would like to hear how the Lord works in what I think is an amazing full circle story about a family of arborists. Now, you tell me, Chris, I didn't even read this in its entirety when you sent it. I looked at the length of it and I said to Chris, can I read this later on the channel? And he said, yes. You tell me whether I'm tracking, if I'm picking up what you're putting down. Because I am. Full circle story about a family of arborists. Hope you'll still check out my channel, and I may start making porter wraps that go in truck hitches. Maybe I'll send you a prototype. Greg Brown sent me one of those. I used it in a video. We always seem to use one on the tree. I don't know. Oh, love you, brother. May God bless you, Chris Coyle. Okay, Barn Find Fabrication, he said. Hope you check out my channel. I'll check out the channel. I would check in on his channel periodically. Being a creative type guy, I mostly, like even now, tonight, I'll probably be up all night making a video. This current video I'm on now is kind of Hollywood, going back a little bit into some of my, this video is cool, so I just wanted to doll it up a little bit. My next video, I don't think, it's not really the viral thing. I don't think it'll get millions of views or anything. It'll annoy somebody. It'll annoy people that were, who knows, cutting a tree down, for one. Chipping wood, people don't like that. The music will annoy people. But hey, I'm doing it. I'm doing it how I always did it. My channel is about, it's not for clicks. It gotten some clicks, but I'm not, there's some things I won't do. I don't like how YouTube has become so clickbaity, and you got to make some kind of like outlandish thumbnail, or you got to make some silly claim that's too over the top. And I just there's just some things I won't do for clicks. And I don't expect this video to be rock'em sock'em viral, but I expect to really love this video, and I expect that my friends from down through the years will like it too. Am I done? How'd I do? Chris, thanks. And we'll I'll read some other stuff. I like hearing from, I like the miniature bestsellers that are out there in this live chat out there. All this, what's the guy's name? John, I can't remember his name. John something. He goes by Duke Flim on this. I call him the 70-year-old guy. Anyway, he's funny. He's got some stories. He writes me. Hey, Sean. You're welcome, Dan. You're welcome, Chris. Margot likes hearing stories about how God works in people's lives. Hollywood, Jeremy, you know it. I'm dropping it. You're picking it up. I'm going through the comments. I traded my 3x1-2 chipper for a 3x16. Thanks, Johnny. Nick Pixel, where you at? Okay. Jeremy says Nick Pixel. All right, Jeremy. He's showing up a lot. Nick Pixel will set him straight now. I wish I could give you guys a better wrench, like a golden wrench or something. Jeremy, yeah. What kind of saddle you got? You can attach suspenders to it. Helps with the load. What I'm saying is I've never put it into words like what? Morning from Newtsford. Okay, I'm back at the beginning. All right, you people. Ergovation. Yeah, I don't know what it looks like. I've heard of it. I know there's a way to latch onto that with suspenders. I know there is. Yeah, that's good, Johnny. I appreciate that. There are goodies out there too. Video that sold me on you, August. I needed that one that day. Which one was it? I don't remember. Oh yeah, the made for this poem. You know, I love that story because I worked on that. imagine writing that. I wrote a poem for months, driving around, ruminating on it, and adding to it and taking away from it, and just searching my mind, sitting in a chair and staring up at nothing and searching for, well, that's not quite what I mean. That's not quite what I mean. That's not quite. That's not it. And then crack, home run, over and over, over and over. And I dialed it and I dialed it. And I've told this story before. And then I got to a place where I started ranting because I'm prone to it. I started ranting about all kinds of stuff that you guys probably could tell that I would be triggered by. Mostly the liberal, out of touch with the land types. I started ranting, but see, it didn't fit. Another Rush voice out there who just goes on and on about all the obvious crap that's wrong. There's plenty of wrong. Turn off the news, man. It'll just make you sick. So I was like, well, my motto for the channel was live to inspire. I literally had it as you know, the thing that says sent by my iPhone or whatever. That was like at the bottom of everything. Live to inspire, live to inspire. And so I saw it so much on letterhead or letter things or whatever you call them at the bottom so often that I didn't even see it anymore. And I've gone wayward a few times. And I started, and I could slice and dice. So if I can come up with clever phraseology in a poem that's positive, I can go the other way too. And I came up with some really clever jabs. And it was dang funny and making me kind of happy in a negative way. And then that day when I had mine, because I carry the notebook around with me everywhere I went. Carry that notebook around and I would jot things in it. One day I set it up on the hood of the truck, ran inside for something when I got home, And then I was like, oh, my folder. And then I went back out and it was all blown down the road. And I ran around picking up what I could find because it was only one copy, ballpoint pen on writing paper. And I only found, there was 9 pages. I found 6 pages. And the 3 pages that were gone were all the rant. And try as I might, I couldn't find them. And I was like, I think you're getting a message. So I took the message and I was like, okay, we'll just omit all that. Who cares? We won't go with that direction. It'll only be to inspire the industry, the colleagues out there, wherever they are. And you'll know who you are if you've wrecked out a spar with sawdust in your face. So that's what I did. And it eventually became, and then of course I had to make a video to go with it. And wow, all of those little minute choices are what built the Arborist channel, which is what made the platform for the brand of Monkey Beaver, and gave me and Joe a plan B. So much I could say. Maybe what I should do, because I can't do handstands because I got stung by a bee on my hand and my finger is swole up. And it's swole up the back of my hand and even into my wrist. And this wrist is still hurting. So I gotta back off. And so I was thinking, anybody wants to write me and say anything, then I'll consider reading it to the group. And say it yourself too if you want. Hashtag. Make a video, talk to your phone. Hashtag MonkeyBeaver2020. If you want to hear me say it, that's fine. I'll read it. But I'll watch a video. I liked watching that one. Recently, I watched one from Dan, and I watched another one from Country Boy. I can't remember his name right now. John, I think. John? Yeah, I can't remember his name. Cody? I think it's Cody or something like that. Anyway, Cody Joyner, was that it? I should go. So what I'd like to do is read the Made for This poem to you. Like I just read John's letter or Chris's letter, and it resonates, right? And I'd like to read the Made for This poem to you guys and sort of talk about it, as tell you what it means to me. Yeah, my wrist is swole up. I like that word. It's funny. Oh yeah. Watershed Wonders. Is your name John too, isn't it? You were just talking about, the thieves. That was an interesting story. I mean, interesting to live it and to be just eaten by hatred and then come out on the other side of it all peaceful and glad that it didn't change me for the worse. It changed me for the better. Is that nuts? Romans 8:28, yo. I'm gonna go. Oh yeah, Nick. Be a good video for the main channel. I thought about doing it on the main channel in the form of screen capture, watching the video with a little me in a small square or something, pausing it and talking about it. I don't know. I wanted to do a lot of explanation videos like that on my other channel, have a whole series of make the video and talk about behind the scenes stuff. because there's a ton. You know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, how many pictures go by in a moving picture? How many words are you not getting? Maybe too many. That's what makes a moving picture good. All right, I got a video to make. Thanks for hanging out with me. Nick, Jeremy. See you, Chris. I hope that you and Dustin just keep that love of each other very, very high on your journey forward. I'll see you.